Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover how Franklin's unique geography is actually quietly impacting your home's plumbing. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're looking at something literally every homeowner in central Indiana needs to understand, but, very few actually do. We are going to break down the invisible forces at work right beneath your lawn and inside your walls, and more importantly, how you can defend your property against them.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the hyperlocal sticks. What is specifically threatening neighborhoods near the Atterbury-Bacalar Air Park, or those houses stretching along County Line Road? Now, you might think it's just the age of the houses, or maybe just bad luck when a pipe bursts. But the truth? It's much more systemic than that. It's an ongoing environmental assault that's totally unique to our specific location right here in Johnson County.
There is a stark difference between normal plumbing aging and the aggressive antagonist present in Franklin. In a standard environment, pipes just kind of gradually degrade over decades. But here, your plumbing is facing a relentless triple threat. We're talking dense clay soil that's constantly shifting, extreme freezing temperatures, and incredibly mineral-heavy municipal water. So it's not just basic wear and tear, it is an active, ongoing environmental challenge.
Let's get right to it. Section 1. The environmental antagonists. First up is the notorious freeze-thaw cycle. When winter temperatures drop below freezing around here, any water sitting in the pipes of your unheated spaces, think crawl spaces, garages, or exterior walls, it freezes solid. And as we all know, water expands when it freezes. This expansion puts immense, crushing pressure on copper or PEX pipes, creating severe stress fractures. But the real disaster? That actually happens when the temperature rises and the ice melts, sending water flooding right through those new cracks and straight into your walls and ceilings.
Now, our local water supply also acts as a sort of inside agent. Indiana's hard water carries a massive amount of dissolved minerals. As this water flows through your home every day, those minerals get left behind, silently building up inside your plumbing. It secretly destroys water heaters from the inside out by creating these thick layers of sediment that corrode the heating elements. Plus, it just eats away at older galvanized pipes, drastically reducing your water pressure over time.
And then we have the ground itself. Franklin sits on incredibly dense clay soil. This heavy clay acts like a giant vice grip on older pipes. When it rains, the clay absorbs that moisture and expands. But during a dry spell, it shrinks and cracks. This constant shifting puts relentless pressure on your underground sewer lines. This is specifically a huge threat for homes near Forsyth Park and the older historic downtown district, where clay sewer laterals are still incredibly common.
Which brings us to Section 2, the direct consequences. Because of these environmental villains we just talked about, we see a very specific set of local failures. We're talking frozen pipes during cold snaps that cause major flooding. We see complete water heater sediment failures, where the tank literally just rusts right through. We have sewer lines backing up because roots have invaded cracked pipes. And of course, massive sump pump overloads during heavy spring storms, mostly because that clay soil we mentioned simply does not drain well, which sends groundwater straight into your finished basement.
Just look at this number, 15. That is the maximum, and I mean absolute maximum number of years you can expect a typical water heater to survive here before our hard water completely rusts it through. Honestly, most only last 8 to 12 years. If you aren't doing annual maintenance to flush out that mineral sediment, you're essentially taking down a very short clock before you wake up to a completely flooded utility room.
Another major consequence comes from our mature landscaping. Because our shifting clay soil creates tiny cracks and low spots in older sewer laterals, the beautiful mature landscaping in Franklin's established neighborhoods actually senses that moisture and invades those cracks. Once inside, those roots grow into dense masses that catch waste and cause total system backups. It is literally nature actively reclaiming your plumbing.
All right, let's move on to Section 3, professional intervention. When dealing with Franklin's specific challenges, local experts, like the folks at Keystone Plumbing Indianapolis, use a highly structured 3-step process. Step 1, proper diagnosis. Step 2, professional repair. And Step 3, rigorous testing. That first step, it's absolutely crucial because it prevents the total destruction of your yard. Professionals use specialized diagnostic tools like high-definition sewer cameras and acoustic leak detectors. So instead of bringing in a massive excavator and trenching up your pristine lawn just to guess where a leak might be, they can snake a camera down the line, find the exact tree root mass or cracked pipe, and pinpoint the failure with zero unnecessary digging. Now, our really important point here, and this is a total game changer for anyone who's ever hired a contractor, is transparent, upfront, flat-rate pricing. Keystone evaluates the diagnostic data and gives you a single price covering all the labor and materials before they even pick up a wrench. This totally eliminates the absolute nightmare of surprise hourly fees while you're stressed out watching your basement fill with water at 2 a.m. You know the exact cost before the work begins.
And along with cost, we really need to talk about time. How long is your home going to be your construction zone? Well, for emergency burst pipe repairs, you can usually expect 2 to 4 hours once they arrive. A standard drain cleaning might be as quick as 30 minutes. But for a full water heater replacement, dealing with draining the old one, navigating county codes, and testing the new unit, you should realistically expect a 3 to 5 hour intervention.
Which perfectly transitions us to Section 4, Bureaucracy and Economics.
It is the question on every single homeowner's mind when facing a major repair or installation in Johnson County. Do I actually need a permit for this, or is that just local red tape? Well, the short answer is, for minor things like a leaky faucet, no. But for the big stuff, absolutely yes, and for very good reason.
You see, Johnson County enforces specific code standards to ensure your safety. Water heater installations, especially gas-fired units, require permits because improper venting creates lethal carbon monoxide hazards. You also need permits for gas line work, major sewer replacements, and whole home repiping. A reputable plumber handles pulling these permits and scheduling the county inspections to ensure everything is completely up to code. This protects your home's resale value and, most importantly, your family's safety.
Understanding what dictates that upfront flat rate price really empowers you as a consumer. The cost is driven by material types. For example, using modern, freeze-resistant PEX piping versus traditional copper. It's also driven by labor complexity, like whether they have to cut through drywall to reach a hidden leak. It's driven by emergency after-hours timing. And yes, those required permit and inspection fees play a role too. So it's not arbitrary at all. It's a carefully calculated breakdown to ensure the job actually survives the Franklin climate.
Ultimately, while the environment here is tough, it's definitely not unbeatable. Annual plumbing inspections and proactive maintenance are far and away your absolute best defenses. Having a professional flush the mineral buildup from your water heater or inspect your clay sewer lines for early root intrusion can save you literally thousands of dollars in emergency flood damage down the road. Catching these things early changes everything.
So, I'm going to leave you with this to think about. Is your home's plumbing actually prepared to survive Franklin's next freeze-thaw cycle? Knowing what we covered today about the shifting clay, the incredibly hard water, and the expanding ice, don't wait for a 2 a.m. basement flood to find out the hard way. Take action. Schedule a routine inspection so you aren't caught off guard when the local environment puts your plumbing to the test.